about time I do a little update after Ultimate Adventure this year. I didn't get that much video, but I do have some random video and a bunch of pictures that I'm going to post up here after I get done jabbering about everything that happened. And I'm gonna go real quick of everything that happened with the truck, which really wasn't all that much, pretty minor stuff. Okay, things that happened while on UA on the truck. Not that much. Of course, I bent the front bumper, which is not a shock. I mean, that kind of knew that's happening. This dent, I have absolutely no idea where it came from, but it's there. Going down this side, this door was caved completely in, and I broke the window out of it on the first trail day, which was at Hawk Pride. And yeah, it was kind of a mess. And I shouldn't have even hit the tree that I hit. I wasn't paying attention, slid into it, and bang, broke the window out. This paint, it's all knocked off down here and over here and all down the bedside. All this, that I don't remember where it happened at, but all the scratches and all that is from Windrock on Trail 39, where I slid into a ditch. Really, there wasn't much choice, and I just ran the driver's side up the ditch. Rear tail light, this side, somewhere at Hawk Pride. I don't even know where it happened. Back looks good. Nothing really happened back here. Amazingly enough, I knocked the other tail light out. Don't really remember where, but busted it. But as you see, I saved most of that one and taped it in. This is a trailer light that I carry with me, the lens. It fits perfectly over this right here. So if you got a square body Chevy, carry these and you can just tape that on. This side, more of the same of smashing the side in. And I really wish I could tell you where I did it, but I don't remember. I know where I did this though, down here on the bottom edge. That was a Hawk Pride. There was a rock and I couldn't see it, and I kept bumping it harder and harder and harder. And I should have known better because the camera guys kept getting closer and closer. So obviously I wasn't doing something right. But that's what happened there. This door was caved in. I pushed it back out. Also happened at Windrock. I took a bypass that was supposed to be better and turned out to be worse. So basically this whole side of the truck was well, smashed against a rock, and I had to just drive across it. And you can see even the badge got a little bit of a scrape on it. That was against the rock. This fender's bowed because, well, once again, not paying attention. Bumped the tree at Hawk Pride, bowed the fender. Tire never rubbed, so that was all good. Speaking of the tires, overall I was pretty impressed with them. They cleaned out pretty well. Now this is the second generation MT02 Milestar, not the original. But they cleaned out well and stuck the rocks pretty good. So really no big complaints there. The only other real issue that I had during the whole event was my exhaust fell apart. I'm pretty sure we were bombing through a forest road through Georgia, and my front drive shaft hit my crossover pipe and knocked it loose. And then everything started coming loose. I fixed it at a gas station real quick, but on the road day from Georgia to North Carolina, it kept getting louder and louder and got really obnoxiously loud. Pulled into the hotel parking lot that we stayed at, and well, the exhaust was completely off the header on the passenger side, just dangling by the oxygen sensor. So I had one open header and one exhaust connected with a giant hole sucking air, so every time you let off it popped and crackled, and it was annoying. But other than that, that's really the only issues I had with the truck. I mean, other than beating the body up and the exhaust falling apart, that was really it. So overall, can't complain. I will go over kind of where we went. I'm doing this by memory. So we started at Hawk Pride, wheeled there on Sunday. The next day we loaded up and we road tripped into Georgia. Hit a museum in Dawsonville that was like a NASCAR history museum. And then we wheeled some private property that's known as Black Moose, I found out. It's really cool, really awesome camp. I have a short video of us sitting by the fire there, but overall that was an awesome place. Next day we loaded up, headed towards North Carolina. We hit Hurricane Trail on our way to the hotel. Finally went to the hotel, got there at night, of course. And then the next day, man, it so blends so much together. Next day we headed towards Tennessee, and we went to Windrock and wheeled Windrock, did Trail 39 like I mentioned before, which is a fairly tough trail and part of 40 or maybe a 40A. Did all that. That was a long day. I was about mid-pack, which I was kind of glad because we were up and out of the top before it got dark. The guys that are towards the back of the pack came out in the dark. And then after that, we road tripped over to Tennessee, another part of Tennessee, Colmont. We actually stayed in the same hotel we stayed in 2015, and oh, I can't even think of the name of the place now. But the same hotel we ended in 2015 on UA, that my first time going. Went to that hotel and then went to Colmont OHV, which backs up to what is known as the Cove, which is really cool. Went back in there. I've never been there before. I'm glad I went, because now I know what it's like in there. There's a giant cave. James Ryder and the Toyota on 42s went down in the cave. And that was basically the end. And we came back out. Oh, I remember something else that happened. I lied. I had another problem. Fuel pump was losing power randomly on the way out of that trail on our way to dinner. I don't know what it was, but it just acted up. And the same thing happened to us last year when I was riding with Dave. We had fuel issues on our way out to dinner, so we were late to dinner, just like I was last year. Ended up hot wiring the pump. Later at the hotel that night, I figured out it was a fuse issue. The fuse itself wasn't blown, but it had a bad connection. Fixed it all up, and the next morning we loaded up and started heading home. And all was well until that fuel pump started dying, because I think the voltage on and off was not good for it. Kind of killed it. So I had to change the fuel pump in an abandoned gas station. Went to go change it, put a new one in. The sock fell off, didn't have another sock to put on it. Stuck it in there anyway. And we literally drove an hour down the road and the fuel pump locked up. Luckily, I kept the old fuel pump that was not very strong. Swapped it back in on the side of the road with everybody driving by at 80 miles an hour and continued on. But I will say the traffic was absolutely horrible, because I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but there was a hurricane in Florida where I'm from, and everybody that's going back to Florida that evacuated was going down I-75 with us, and it was a mess. It should have been about a 10-hour drive home. It was about a 13 to 14-hour drive home. It was freaking miserable, and I was glad to be home. But that's the short abbreviated version. The official videos for Motor Trend should be out the beginning of December from what I hear. So be looking out for that. They will be on YouTube and on the app as far as I know. But other than that, that's about it. And enjoy my random pictures and video from the trip. Nothing too spectacular, but you get to see a little bit of what happened, a little behind the scenes and some of the trails we hit.
Las Cruces is fine. I've never slept a night in El Paso.
That's some of the best Mexican food I've ever had.
Las Cruces is legit.
Really?
Yeah, there's some, some like ranch house with like bars on that.
Wow, when we
Gotta tell them what's up. Corby, the front axle is on a rock.
Front garage shift's a banana. I could see it. Bye.